everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the Chamber of Commerce On Point webinar series. Today, we have our special guest, Alexis Andrews. She is the 2023 Ellensburg Rodeo Queen. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes. Well, we were talking before we came on here, and it seems like you have a really busy schedule, and it's going to get even busier.
Oh, yes.
But I kind of asked, like, what are some highlights that you've experienced since you've become queen?
Yeah. So as everyone all over social media knows, I just got back from the Calgary Stampede up in Alberta. And I have to say that was quite the production to get up there and go see. I took off here Wednesday, got up to where I needed to be on Thursday, did everything on Friday, and got home Saturday night. And that was a whirlwind of a trip. My favorite rodeo that I've been to so far as just the atmosphere and the energy, probably has been Sisters Rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
And I am looking forward to my trip at the end of July, headed down to the Cheyenne Frontier Days, and of course the Ellensburg Rodeo at the Labor Day weekend.
We also stated that your August is going to be really, really busy. You're going to be
Yes.
on the road. And I was stating for everybody else out there, the summer is almost over.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have an opportunity to look forward to Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
This is an exciting opportunity for the community to be involved, not only from a small business perspective, but even citizens to be involved. Yeah. And so what is the rodeo doing to prepare for rodeo weekend?
Well, the Ellensburg Rodeo, in partnership with many of the local businesses, organizations, we have a great 6-week kickoff that is going to, I believe I just found out, starts this upcoming next week, not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Yes.
That is just promptly being added to my calendar of things to attend. But we are doing an event almost every single week. There's some things that might happen twice in a week, but that means we're 6 weeks away from rodeo. So, and then from there, we'll have that kickoff downtown trail map, and then the Ellensburg Rodeo Hall of Fame speaker series will also be that next weekend. And then, as we can see, we have the Ellensburg Music Festival. We have our window decorating that, if you are interested, I believe that the Ellensburg Rodeo is helping businesses with their window painting. And we have the First Friday Art Walk. One of my favorite events as when I'm out of my queen attire is to go to Girls Night Out downtown.
Okay.
But it looks like we are going to have a Cowgirls Night out on the town, which is super exciting to be able to go downtown and see all the local businesses participate in that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is absolutely go time with our kickoff pancake breakfast, and then our Hall of Fame inductee banquet that we have going on. And then Labor Day weekend is here and in full force.
Yeah.
We have our Best of the Best Pro-Am roping. We have our hoedown in the downtown. Then we have our concert on Thursday. And then our rodeo performances are starting Friday, going through Monday. And other events would be like our parade that's going to happen Saturday morning. Extreme Bulls, which has been sold out since I believe almost March.
Yeah, that's what I understand too.
And yeah, and then just wrapping it all up on Monday, and Tuesday will just be another day of the week.
Well, I think for a lot of people that may be watching this video, let's go back to that 6-week prior to the Labor Day weekend, because I think a lot of times, if I remember correctly, if it's next week, that's the day of the cowboy week. So what a great appropriate kickoff is the day of the cowboy. And you talked a little bit about downtown trail map. There was an opportunity for businesses to do, I believe, food and drink menu items that were specifically to the rodeo or to Ellensburg. And so that will be handed out soon.
Yes, that is
by July 22nd.
Yes, I believe it runs like 2 to 5. At least I'm committed to being down by Blue Rock around 2 to 5, as there's a concert that I think is gonna start kicking off, handing out trail maps, and having the community members just go and experience downtown and start getting in the mood of Ellensburg Rodeo.
Yeah. So with that trail map, I was going to say trail mix, but trail map, it's kind of like a passport. So there's an opportunity for citizens to get this trail map, go to local businesses, purchase the item that's listed in there, and then it's also an entry for a prize. And I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of these, what I'm going to coin as pop-up opportunities as prizes, right? I know the Ellensburg Rodeo board has been really working hard on engaging the town to this celebration. And so with the Ellensburg Music Festival, which was also known as Jazz in the Valley, that's a great opportunity to be downtown. And then you have the window decorating, which I thought it was a gracious move of the board that if you call the office, they will cover the cost of the decorating or the painting of the windows. And so if you haven't done that as a business, please take advantage of that. We really want to decorate and be ready for the Labor Day weekend and just kind of show that community pride because this is one of our largest events, if not the largest event of the year. So the other thing is Friday Art Walk, the Cowgirl Night Out. So if you're a small business that haven't signed up for that. And so who would they contact at the office? Just anybody that answers the phone? I'm assuming so.
That would be my assumption. Megan Meeks is obviously going to be extremely busy, and so I believe any of the front staff members would be more than gracious to assist businesses in getting signed up with that.
Well, I know that they've just been really busy because, as you talked about, tickets. You know, you have the traditional rodeo event, but then you have the specialty events, which is like Extreme Bulls, and those have been sold out, like you said, since March. I know we share the office here at the chamber, and I know almost every day somebody either is calling or coming in for Extreme Bull tickets. So that's another thing we're going to say on this On Point webinar is if you have not gotten your tickets, this is the year that you should probably pre-plan of getting your tickets. Worst case scenario, you'll still get a seat in the arena, but you may have full sun on you without any shade. So
yeah, I know that like Saturday is filling up extremely fast, and I think some of the tickets are getting down to like standing room only, and so it is going to be very, very jam-packed stadium in the grandstands.
Well, I think you also mentioned that there's going to be a lot of, I would call ancillary events up to the performances. And so with us celebrating the centennial of Ellensburg Rodeo, I'm assuming there's going to be some previous queens that are going to join you on the celebration.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have extended an invite to our past royalty, and if you are interested in being a part of that, I believe on the website that there's a link for past royalty to get involved, and also calling down to the office if someone wants more nitty-gritty details. But yeah, so we're inviting our past royalty to come join us for a luncheon, and then they're also welcome to participate in grand entries and the parade. And my understanding is that they may have to dress for their era or encouraged to dress for their era, which I think would be so cool to see. Just as we saw during like the coronation banquet, the fashion show that was put on, we saw so many different outfits that got to come out and be on display. And so to kind of see that, and they're encouraged to wear their chaps, even if they're helping with like flags or sponsorships or anything like that, they're encouraged to wear their Ellensburg Rodeo chaps as they're doing all that too.
Oh my goodness. I think that's going to be the fun part of it is, like you said, with the trends. I mean, can you imagine some of those cowgirl hats and the flare bell-bottom jeans probably? And so that'll be a fun, exciting opportunity. You know, I think about the history of Ellensburg Rodeo, and there's just so many heartfelt purposes to the Ellensburg Rodeo. I know the nation has been involved, and they're the reason we're at the location that we are at. So there's just a lot of history, and you know, the exciting part is the grand entry of the rodeo is just really meaningful throughout the years. And so this is the year I feel like that hill is going to be crowded.
Oh yes.
And the Serpentine is going to be amazing, right?
Yes, it is definitely going to be very, very busy, very packed, and I'm excited to see all the faces in there.
Yeah, and I realize that with the expansion of some of the facilities, the nation actually has also invited other nations to come and join.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, that is my understanding. That I think they've reached out to several of the neighboring tribes, as well as I think some further away tribes to come and join us and join them as we celebrate this great, awesome.
Yeah, I
production.
think that's just gonna be, so not only are we gonna have the queens from all eras, we're gonna have the Hall of Fame inductees, which I believe there's a handful or more.
Yeah, I believe there's about 5 of them.
Yeah, and then you've got the immense, just the celebration itself. Then your partners in the facility, which is the fair,
Yes.
is also celebrating 100 years. So I
Yes.
mean, it's just like this amazing opportunity, not only for businesses, but for visitors and for community members
yeah.
that have been longtime volunteers and supporters. Well, let's just talk a little bit about the weekend in case someone is not aware of the weekend. But we always say it's kind of Labor Day weekend, but it really starts with that Best of the Best.
Yeah, so our Best of the Best Pro-Am roping that is put on in partnership with the Ellensburg Rodeo now is one of our very first events that we're going to have during the week. And we get to see some of our local competitors rope with some of the top PRCA athletes. And then, since it's such an awesome thing that Scott Rep was able to get started so many years ago, is that we are able to provide such a huge purse to the rodeo athletes when they start doing the Best of the Best roping, and we get to see all of them compete, and they can help finish out their year a little bit stronger than maybe they could if they didn't get some money there. From there, we transition into the Hoedown in the Downtown event, which is free for everyone to come and see. I just had a meeting about that yesterday, and so I'm hearing about bands and vendors that are going to be there.
That's awesome.
And the kids' opportunities, and I know that I'm going to be down there. And so it's super exciting to have that. And then my favorite time of the year gets started on Thursday when we have our first round of our slack. And of course, as we have seen all over, our Kittitas County Fair opens that day, and we have our Rockin' the Chutes concert with Chase Beckham and Sawyer Brown.
Oh yeah.
In our world famous Behind the Chutes. I am so excited to get to go see that. And then Friday we have our first rodeo performance, which will be our Patriot Night, where we are inviting veterans from Desert Storm and Desert Shield to be honored during that performance. And so if you know of anyone, or if anyone in the community wants to, be sure to reach out to the Ellensburg Rodeo office in order to get honored and recognized during that performance. Then the performance I have actually never been to, the Saturday performance.
Okay.
And that will be, that's almost a sellout crowd already. And our Extreme Bowls are happening that night. Unfortunately, you can't get any tickets for that anymore, as we've already mentioned. That's been sold out for months. And then Sunday, our Tough Enough to Wear Pink Day. So be sure to pull out all those pink shirts, shorts, shoes, cowboy boots, anything you want so we'll be doing that on Sunday. And then we have our Sunday night posse show, which is free admission too, I believe. And you'll get to see the local posses and neighboring posses kind of compete, have a little bit of fun. I'm trying to convince some rodeo queens to participate and get a little dirty on our cowhide races there.
Okay.
And Monday, my favorite day, will be championship day, and we'll have our last performance and crown our champions of the Ellensburg Rodeo.
Yeah, Monday is my favorite day. We tend to go to a couple others, but Monday is my favorite day. It's the best of the best in PRCA, and you get to see who's crowned the winner. So one of the things that I think is important about just the schedule in general is your community partners. You have Ellensburg Rodeo has always been a supporter of the community and their community partners. And so, the Hoedown in Downtown is a partner with the Ellensburg Downtown Association. You have the Top Hands that have been your community partners that have put on, the Posse is another partner that's been with you. But then you also have nonprofit organizations that assist to put on some of these events. So obviously Behind the Chutes, you guys support a nonprofit to which then they help you with services during that time. So we just really appreciate the efforts of the Ellensburg Rodeo Board to make sure that it's a community event, because it definitely is. So full weekend and extended weekend, I should say. So very exciting for us to have that. along with that, we talked a little bit about specialty events, but you also have specialty acts that you
Yes.
bring into the performances.
Yes. So I know when I was really young and was first attending the Ellensburg Rodeo, we had the One-Armed Bandit, who was our specialty act during the time, and he will be back this year along with Haley Proctor and Madison McDonald for trick riding,
Nice.
which will be super exciting. And I've heard some rumors about some wild horse races that might partake in some of the performances.
Okay.
So we will have a lot of action available for those in the crowd.
Awesome. That's so great. Specialty acts really help with the process of the whole rodeo.
Mhm.
So I appreciate you guys bringing those entertainers to the area. One of the things that obviously there's been some new improvements. And so, I mean, to celebrate 100 years, there's obviously going to be things that we need to, as a community, support the Ellensburg Rodeo Board in regards to. And so we'll start with the bottom one that's listed here on the screen, which is your sponsor focused, right?
Yes.
The sponsors that make it happen.
Yes, absolutely. We have so many sponsorship opportunities available this year. I know that we have some that are going to run behind the chutes, some that will obviously be very present in during like our grand entry, see banners all around. We have sponsors for almost anything you could imagine, but we're really trying to not only up the ante for like those who are participating, but we really want to be able to provide a great experience for our sponsors. And so some things that go along with that are like expansion of some of our Western Village buildings in order to kind of host and celebrate them a little bit more and really thank them for everything that they're able to do for our Ellensburg Rodeo and for our contestants that are going to be here.
Wonderful. And then we're going to go up one more, which is the attendee focused.
Yes.
It looks like the bucking chutes, from what I understand, they're on ground.
They are on ground. I see them every week when I go down there. They're absolutely beautiful WW bucking chutes that we have down there. I am so excited for them to get put in. We're waiting on some schedules to align in order to get them actually put in on the grounds or into the arena. But they look fabulous, not only for spectators, but also it's going to be great for the contestants. And also listed on here, and it did happen last year, but our Behind the Chutes expansion, I really think that is something that has been such a great opportunity for the rodeo, and that we are able to host more people back there and really help generate some of those revenue. And that revenue just goes back to our contestants. And so we also see some increased payout for them, and we're able to start doing some of these other capital projects with the money earned back there.
That's one of the things too, is when we're on this On Point webinar, I like to point out that the Ellensburg Rodeo brings these improvements to the rodeo arena, and you really only use the facility for, you know, a time being. The whole experience, obviously we've talked about, starts Wednesday, ends Monday, but it's a year-round improvement.
Yes.
For anybody and everybody that uses the facility.
Yes.
So I think that's important to point out, that the investment of this group of board members and the supporters, along with the Ellensburg Rodeo Board, is the improvements that you're providing is a year-round for the community. So I really appreciate their efforts, because it does make a big difference.
Yes, and some of the other improvements, so it's like I have that listed under the contestant focus as well as those new bucking chutes, but we have new stock holding pens and all that sort of stuff is just to improve the safety for our animals and for attendants. And so it looks great too. We have wood that's older than dirt back there.
Yes.
And now we have these brand new pens back there to really just help things flow a little bit better.
Yeah, I did notice that, because when we do the local barrel racing on Wednesday, I noticed all of the new pins, and it was an incredible piece there, because you never put anything together until it's there, and then you're like, oh, that works really well.
Yes.
So, well, thank you so much for your guys' efforts in regards to that. So, well, obviously, on this next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about an improvement that the board has been working on, which is, we understand that this 100-year celebration is going to bring more people to the community. And I would have to say, from the Chamber's perspective and also the Downtown Association perspective, there is never enough parking.
Oh, no.
So You know, we have volunteers that try to manage all of the parking lots, but there just is never enough space for parking. So I know that John Morrow from the board was really working on a shuttle service, and
Yes.
it is going to be.
Yes, I find that this is so exciting. You also notice I also have the behind the shoots advertisement there right there
Yeah.
next to it, because you see some of those timelines that it runs from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m.
Uh-huh.
First through the third. Monday, you should be off grounds before 1 a.m.
Yeah.
But no, this is something that we actually got to see in some visiting rodeo and visiting some other rodeos.
Mm-hmm.
Is they run some shuttle services around town if you're going to or from the location. And so I believe that's something that we're trying to simulate here as well, and being able to have that transportation available for people to come in and out, and obviously avoid the parking mess, unless you know special places to park, but community people don't give away those secrets.
Those tend to be very secretive places.
Yes.
So I think this is an excellent addition to the weekend. As you can see in the flyer on this webinar, it's at the hotels that this mostly is running. There's a few downtown stops, which includes the Hotel Windrow and then at the Safeway in downtown. So I think the other thing that we must state is we know that the guest experience, there is inhibitors that may be part of that experience, and so we just want everybody to be safe.
Yes.
So not only is it a parking situation, but we want public safety.
Yes.
And so as a community, I think we can appreciate that,
Yes.
because we just are aware that people have a full experience when they're in the for the rodeo for the weekend. And so I just really appreciate this
Yes.
addition. And so I know that the rodeo board had budgeted some amounts, but again, we're about community partnerships. And so I know that the Kittitas Valley Event Center was a partner, and also the county lodging tax was a supporter, and the city lodging tax was a supporter. So they see the difference of providing this service. So kudos to John Morrow for taking this on as a board member, but to actually get it to fruition, I think this is an excellent opportunity.
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to talk about, if you can't make it this weekend, you still can buy merchandise.
Yes, absolutely. I have hardly ever purchased merchandise up until this year, and I think now I have 4 or 5 different pieces of clothing.
Okay.
I am planning on purchasing the book. Everyone should get a copy of the book, because it's such a wonderful keepsake as we're talking about that tradition living on and celebrating those 100 years. I believe that this is such a great way to keep that and really remember it and have it in print, and being able to share some of those stories. But merchandise is available online and at the ticket office when you want to come in. And then as we start transitioning down to the rodeo grounds, it'll be down there as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good segue too, is you have e-commerce opportunities. So even if you are from Ellensburg, but you've relocated, this is an opportunity where you can buy the merchandise and still support the Ellensburg Rodeo Board. But also we have seen multiple people coming in for gifts and for just special occasions. And so I think the other thing, just to kind of remind people as they're watching this, you mentioned it real quick. The rodeo office does relocate to a new location. So currently the rodeo office is on Main Street here in Ellensburg, and they're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. But then the week before,
I believe it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks before.
Yes, it's right around those 2 weeks leading up to rodeo. We make that transition down to the rodeo grounds, and we're up and set up in the Western Village and running ticket sales out of there, running merchandise sales out of there, and really getting
ready for the weekend.
The house there.
I think a lot of times people, even locals and visitors, just kind of forget that there is that transition of the main office going to on-site office. And so this is a real good reminder that if you're looking to do merchandise before the weekend, come to the Main Street office, but otherwise it'll be on-site in the Western Village.
Yes.
Well, we've gone over a lot of stuff, and I really appreciate you being here. So I'm just gonna kind of circle back around as a summary. 6-week kickoff celebration is gonna start the Day of the Cowboy, which I think is the July 21st, might be the 22nd when the passport or the
22nd.
22nd. And so please be involved in it. If you are a business that's watching this and you're wanting to be involved, call the rodeo office and make sure that they know that you want to be involved in these extra activities. For those that are looking for tickets, make sure you get it soon because they're going very quickly.
Yes.
Well, Alexis, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you for
today.
having me.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, and I know you're busy, and so I really appreciate you taking the time. Travel safe.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the rodeos because you are the ambassador for Ellensburg, so we
Yes.
just really appreciate you taking the time today.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Yeah, thank you.